Right, let's have a look at a few of the games this week. The game that we'll start with, the Warriors, Rabbitohs.
Have you scrapped the Thursday game, have you?
There isn't a Thursday game.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, because it's Magic Round. Thursday disappeared in the Magic Round.
And it's a terrible game too.
The Thursday night game?
Or the first Friday night game.
Oh, the Dogs of the night.
Dogs night.
It's last v second last.
Yeah.
It's Spoon v Spoon, maybe Spoon. Surly, Warriors, Rabbitohs. You can tell us why the Warriors are going to win this game.
Well, one key name, Tohu Harris, back. Obviously, it's going to take him a few weeks to find his feet and get back into the mix, but I think just his leadership and his steadiness, it just comes at the perfect time. He's obviously the skipper. He's been doing a lot of the leading off the field, and all the boys have said he's been driving a different culture this year that they've really enjoyed. And I think just having him back out on the park is a massive boost just for our confidence and our leadership. We get Montoya back. I think he's solid on D, and he adds a bit of stability to the edge there. And then, two new recruits, Volkman and Lussick, they're on the extended bench. I wouldn't be surprised if old Volkman gets a run in the 14 for me. That would be a bit of a late bolter, but I see they've named 4 forwards on the bench. Sounds a little bit fishy, so maybe he comes in and brings some spark. But, Tohu's the big one for me. Massive inclusion.
I guess a big out, though, is Cam Murray for the Bunnies. So it's almost a plus for the Warriors.
Yep.
They're getting Tohu Harris back.
2-shot swing, if you will.
No Cam Murray for the Bunnies. Surely they should be. And with the weather reportedly being not ideal, surely that brings the two teams a bit closer together, Carl.
100%. I think the Warriors are a good chance. The Bunnies are in a good spot to be tipped up this week, for sure. Now the stats tell a different story. It's not great.
Tell us the stats.
Well, I'd rather not. But Bunnies have won 11 of the last 12. They've won 5 straight. Sealy's got his fingers in his ears. They have to go back to 2018 for the last Warriors win. It was a 32-20 win as outsiders. 7 of the last 8, though, have gone over the total points. There's been plenty of points scored. The average total scored in those 12, just a tick over 51 points. Total this week, 38.5. Obviously, if the weather's terrible, that 51 is kind of irrelevant. Average score by the Warriors in the last 10 is 17 per game, whereas the Bunnies have doubled that, 35.5. So it's not, stats-wise, not great. But if you're asking me, can the Warriors win? Yes, they can.
Mate, Surly had, I've written down here, I don't know who to pick. I don't know who wins. I think it's that close. Even without Cam Murray out, I thought it was going to be a close game. And then Surly tipped me over, and then Statman's never wrong, so he's brought me back. So now I just don't know.
I'm happy to be wrong this time.
It's going to take a while, I think, for Tohu to get back to his best. It usually does take a year, they say. The thing that worries me is this where my thoughts are at, right? The thing that worries me is the defensive reads from the Warriors outside backs. How do you get an overlap against 11 people? I'm so confused. Even the week before, the defensive reads were awful, just in the outside back. So the Rabbits do like to shift it. We know Alex Johnson loves that play. Cody Walker loves that play out the back, hitting Alex Johnston. Oh, this could be golden point for me. I really don't know who's going to win. I honestly don't know who's going to win. The rain brings it even closer. I'll probably flip a coin, to be honest. I don't know. I wouldn't have a bet on this.
I think the good thing for the Warriors, the Bunnies make some really strange errors, like last passes either not being thrown or getting dropped. So under the conditions, that could compound that. But I agree with Blake. Surely when Curran is fit and comes back into that forward pack, you put Aitken back out into the centres to help out, surely. If only for a defensive reason. He'd really, really solidify that backline being out there. And if Curran comes back, surely there's just too many people for seats on ground sort of thing. You've got to shift someone around.
Think about that pack pool. Lodge, Adam Fanua, Blake, Egan, Curran, Tohu Harris, and Jazz at lock. Like that could win a comp. That forward pack. It is that good. It'd be silly not to. Love what you're saying.
Surely
All I heard was that we're winning the comp, and I'm all about it.
Next game.
Hey, where's your head at? I know where it's at, but these guys probably want to hear.
I don't think the Warriors will win, but
No.
I do like them. I do like them plus the points.
Yeah.
What
Right
is
there.
the start this week?
Seven
About
and a half. Yeah.
Oh,
Was it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Already got them in a
Should-
multi-year.
Yeah.
Oh, sicko alert.
I do like them getting that. But as Blake said, it could go to Golden Point, and here we go. Sean Johnson once again comes to the rescue and kicks another winning field goal.
Quick question, whip around. Would the Warriors have won last week if Tohu Harris was playing? Surly?
I don't know. That Shark side played bloody well, but you'd like to think that he would have navigated it a lot better. So would have been a massive help.
No,
I'll sit on the fence.
I don't think so. I think that the Sharks would have won 13-18 though.
Wow.
That's right. Yeah,
Enough.
we're going to get you into this chat, Surly. We really
Yeah,
do.
Another
it sounds
bad
like
beat.
I'm missing some banter here.
No.
I was going to say they would have, but
I'll
That's
back
the
you in,
optimist
Carl.
me. Yeah,
I'll back you in.
thanks, mate.
Where are we? Storm Panthers 1v2. Panthers coming off a loss.
Yes.
First time we've said that this season.
They, I'll give you some stats. Played 3 times last year. Panthers won 2-1. Won twice, lost once.
Yep.
They played twice at Suncorp. And it was 1-1. Storm beat them at Suncorp 37-10. And then the Panthers won 10-6.
Wow.
The under-over is split 2 apiece in the last 4 in terms of total points. But the under traditionally hits 6 of the last 10 and 10 of the last 14 in this fixture. The average total points scored in the last 10 is 36.4. So about 18 apiece. Yeah. It's pretty even.
Blake, which way are you leaning here?
Just the injuries that tipped me over for Penrith. Remus Smith out, so Sever comes in, and obviously Meany at the back for Pappenhausen. Yeah, so look, I do think if they're both got their full squads on, I think the Storm. You know, I obviously tipped Penrith to come sixth this year because I thought the 2 years they've had have been so big, and I just think that this will be a bit of a decline, and it sort of has, but I think they do the job this week just because the Storm are too busted.
Shirley?
Yeah, I'd echo that. And just on Pappenhausen, it was pretty stink to see. Like, I think that's probably cost him the Dally M and an Origin jersey all in the 1 year. So a rough injury. And I was really surprised he came out in that second half, because you could tell he wasn't right. They already had the game in the bag. So maybe a bad call by Craig Bellamy. His one bad call in his life. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this game still. Like, the battle of the halves is going to be unreal. Cleary and Luai taking on probably the only half pairing that's better than them this year in Munster and Hughes. So it's going to be a great watch. Massive matchups all over the park. But 2 weeks ago I would have picked the Storm, but this week I'll have to go with Blake. I'll go with Penrith.
Yeah.
Kenny Bromwich too, under an injury cloud. Yeah,
there's a couple of key outs for the Storm. And although we saw the Broncos with a couple of key outs last weekend still get up, they weren't playing the Panthers, and they weren't playing the Panthers coming off a loss. I think the Panthers will be very, very keen to get back on that winning road again and put one over what will likely be one of their playoff opponents once we get to the business end of the season. So
we can't be too far away from seeing Willie Warbrook.
Yeah, I personally would have put him. He's a bigger body instead of Eremia, so I would have preferred Willie Warbrick even in the centres over Seve.
Yeah,
but I suppose then you toss it up. Bellamy's, is he thinking long term? As in, I don't want to chuck the kid out there against the Storm, against the Panthers.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm with you, Carl. I would have liked to seen him.
last game that we'll look at,
Yes.
Roosters Eels. Eels on a high. Roosters approaching a high. Or is it?
Roosters get the nod in terms of stats. They won 8 of the last 10, pretty convincingly. They've averaged 30 odd points in their last 10, while the Eels have only averaged 13. In terms of the total, the under has hit in 2 of the last 3, but the over has hit 7 of the last 10.
Sealy,
That's
which
all I
way do
got.
you see this one go?
Yeah, I think one positive for the Roosters last week was I saw that their halves, they kind of decided finally who was going to run the cutter. I think Carey had 4 times the touches of old Walker. So that was good to see that they've decided who's going to run the cutter there. But I think Para just riding a wave. It'll be a good test for them, though. Perhaps in the past, they've beaten the sides we haven't expected them to beat and then come out the next week been a bit disappointing and lost to a side that we've expected them to put away. But I'll be backing the Eels there with Dylan Brown back at 6 and that forward pack they have at the moment. I just think they'll be too strong for the Roosters.
Yeah.
Blake, where you heading?
Game of the weekend for me. I'm playing Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo. Once again, this weekend's real tough. All the games I think are really tough to pick who's going to win. It could go either way. The Eels, they step up for games, like Shirley said, they stepped up for the Storm game. They stepped up for, the Cowboys they're not really one of those teams, as in, the Roosters, the Storm, the Panthers, they're the teams that they get up for. And then saying that, I just don't know how good the Roosters were last week because they played the Titans, but both sides so inconsistent, it's hard to get a read on, but I'm just going to go with the Roosters because they won Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo.
Anytime you can get Roosters paying more than $2
Oh,
a head seems like a gift.
You can't question an Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo like that. Yeah.
can't, mate.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many punters factor the old Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo into their punting snake, but if it works, who cares?
Maybe so.